Hello and welcome to Neil Spanish Flybox. I hope you are all well. Some of you have been asking about my setup when I'm fishing with perdigons, and today I'm going to try and address that particular question. I have said before that when I go fishing, I try and fish within the rules of the Spanish Federation, in the sense that even if I'm pleasure fishing, it's a form of practice, and I see little point in fishing with materials or types of flies that are not within the rules because it gives you a false impression. So today I'm going to talk briefly about the materials, some of the laws, and how I deal with things. Now, what you see here are some of the materials that I might use during the course of fishing, and this is Maxima chameleon. As you can see, it's 5 pounds and it's 20 millimeters, sorry, not 20 milli, 0.20 millimeter for the line. This is a backing which I might use, and this is 30 pounds, it's Hanak. For the Tippet, this particular Tippet material is probably what is favoured by the vast majority of the competition anglers here in Spain. It's made by Ciegua and it is Grand Max AYU, AYU. This happens to be 0.10 millimeters, and that would be around 7x. And as an indicator for competitions, I like to use this tricolour indicator from Hanak. This happens to be 20 millimeters. You can use it in 18, 16, whatever suits you. You can see the breaking strains there, 9 pounds, 9 pounds there. Now, I only use that in competition. I would normally use something a little bit simpler on everyday fishing, and possibly something a little bit cheaper too. But at the end of the day, those are the types of materials that I use. Now, I will go through some of these rules and regulations that are applied to fishing here in Spain by the Spanish Federation. But let's start with the basics. The rod that I use is a 10'6" 2-weight rod for fishing perdigons, and I use a semi-automatic fly reel. Now, you are required to have a specific type of fly line, in the sense that it is around 24 yards and with a minimum of 0.22 of an inch, and that is about 0.55 of a millimeter. Now, how you fix it to your leader is very much a personal thing. In this particular instance, I use a ring, a Tippet ring, at the end of the Euro line. Let me just say that the word Euro line and Euro nymphing and Euro style is a little bit of a misnomer, because how they fish for nymphs in France is different to the way we fish in Spain, and Spain is different to Czechoslovakia. And so there are lots of different methods, and to use it as one generic in the sense of Euro nymphing can be a little bit misleading. But anyway, there we have a 3mm Tippet ring at the end of the fishing line there, and it's whipped and varnished. And then the leader, this happens to be chameleon, Maxima, and that is tied with a tucked half blood, or some people would say that it's an improved clinch knot. Wherever you're living, then you'll know the knot that I mean. Now, the total length of the leader and tippet, from loop to the hook bend of the point fly, can be up to twice the length of the rod. Now, the maximum rod length is 12 feet. So that would be 24 feet, but in my instance, it's 21 feet. The loop at the end of the running line can be up to around 4 inches. Now, anybody that's using a loop of 4 inches, that's entirely up to them, but it's a bit cumbersome for the style of fishing that we're talking about. So that would be about 4.5 meters, probably about 15 feet, something of that nature, 14 or 15 feet. And then after that material, I would tie on the indicator. Now the indicator I tie on with a blood knot, and in this particular instance it is white and it has pink at each end, and you can see it's quite a length. I would say it's probably about 2.5 feet. At the end of the indicator I have a 3mm ring, again Tippet ring, and that's also tied on with a improved clinch. So that's down to the leader, to the tippet. Now the tippet material, you can use whatever you like, but obviously fluorocarbon is the most effective, and it can be any material that you like in fluorocarbon. Now, in order to show you how I tie the tippet on, I'm going to use some old backing here so that you can see what I'm doing. I'll pull off about 6 feet. Right. Now there has to be a minimum of about 20 inches between the hook eyes of the flies, and the dropper has to be a minimum of about 2 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut off some of this line, and now I'm going to take it off. Now let's assume that this piece is attached to the ring, so this would be the principal part. So that is going back to the ring, and here is the second part of the tippet. Now I'm going to tie this on with a 3-turn water knot or surgeon's knot, whatever you want, which is quite simple and is quite effective. 1, 2, 3. Now you would normally wet this knot as you tightened it up. Right, so this is the mother line going back to the indicator and the ring. So I'm going to snip this piece off. So that would be the first fly hanging on that, and the point fly at the other end. Now the reason that I tie it in this way is that this will always be the strongest part, the mother line back to the ring and the indicator. If you hook the bottom, or heaven forbid you lose a fish, you're most likely to lose it with this piece of line, either breaking at the knot or in some other method. So you will always have this mother piece going back to the indicator and ring. So you simply snip off what is left and tie again above with a second piece of dropper or tippet to create the extended dropper down to the point fly, and you carry on fishing. It's as simple as that. So you would cut off here, you still have this for the first dropper, and then you tie on the second piece to the point fly, and you still have sufficient line going back to the ring to not incur the wrath of the judges and break the rules. I hope you understood that. Now, as far as the flies are concerned, they are also governed by the Federation. Now, there's a maximum of 3 flies, although we would normally only use 2 for this style of fishing. You can use lead on the flies, it is permitted, but it mustn't be visible, and it must not extend around the bend of the hook. So basically just along the shank of the hook. Now the bead sizes, there's a maximum of 4 millimeters. That is the general sizing, I think, around the world on these beads. So 4 millimeters is a maximum. Now the flies, their bodies are wholly formed by plastic or rubber or silicone. They're prohibited. As are grubs, maggots, worms, caterpillars, etc., made from those particular materials. Now they use the word gusano, which is a generic for all of those grubs, maggots, worms and caterpillars. So it's fairly clear what you can and can't use. Right, that's the end of the short instruction of what I have. And as I said, I'm not saying that this is the best or the only version. There will be others and other preferences. But that's how I do it, and I hope you found it instructive. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider hitting the bell and becoming a subscriber. Give it a thumbs up. Do pass a comment if you so wish. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.